Hello everybody and welcome to this amazing discussion of Dead by Daylight. The public test build is out for all of us to participate in for PC. If you didn't see my first video in regards what the Emblem system is, then no worries, I'll be explaining them again as they've undergone some slight changes as of late. We'll be taking a look at all the changes they made, my impressions onto the second look. Expect to see more coverage of this throughout the week as well. A quick recap to what the Emblem system is for those who are new to this concept. The Emblem system is a victory condition for both survivors and killers. It replaces both of the current win conditions that are set forth by the respective categories. Additionally, this replacement of victory conditions creates a push and pull, which means if one side is doing well, the opposing side will suffer. It is important to know that this new victory system does not alter or replace the blood points. You'll still earn blood points all the same, however they are just no longer tied to victory. The new victory conditions are split up into 4 new categories for each side. Each category has 5 ranks of rewards: none, bronze, silver, gold, and iridescent. Each rank grants 1 point above the previous, starting at 0 for none and going up to 4 for iridescent. You gain points in each category for performing those specific actions that are not tied to blood points specifically. First, we have Lightbringer versus Gatekeeper. For survivors, Lightbringer gains points for fixing generators, cleansing hex totems, and opening exit gates. For killers, Gatekeeper gains points for every second based on remaining incomplete generators. Bonus points if the game ends with remaining generators still in game. Next, we have Unbroken versus Devout. For survivors, Unbroken gains points for escaping a trial. Each time you are hooked, you lose points. If you die, the emblem is reduced to 0. You gain points based on how long you survived when you are sacrificed, up to a maximum of the silver rank. For killers, they have Devout, which gains points on sacrifices, moris, and reverse bear trap kills. Bleed outs don't count. Next, we have Benevolent versus Malicious. For survivors, Benevolent gains points based on safely unhooking allies. If the ally returns to the hook too soon, the player who made the save loses those points. You also lose points for the first 2 times a survivor is put on a hook. Healing and saving survivors off the killer's shoulders, or even taking hits for the survivor, grants points. For killers, Malicious gains points by hurting, interrupting, or downing survivors. You lose points when they heal, and each time you hook a survivor, you gain points that cannot be reduced. Finally, Evader versus Chaser. For survivors, Evader gains points while staying hidden from a killer, and the closer you are, the more points you get. And for every 15 seconds within a chase that you do not take damage, you will gain more points. Chaser, for killers, gains points for finding a survivor and winning a chase. This means when you strike a survivor, the chase is won. The shorter the chase, the more the points. So now that you know the conditions to win, let's see what the changes that came along with the PTB patch notes we got. They added hex totems and exit gate openings as a method of gaining points, as originally they were strictly given from just completing generators. This was important for those who were used as bait or chased for majority of the game. Unbroken used to be based on how many times you were downed and hooked. The less you went down, the higher the rank. However, death would lead to no emblem whatsoever. Granting players points for surviving for a long time now rewards those who did well to survive long, but still failed to survive. Benevolent was a problem back in the first test as well. People would get farmed to return benevolence points, which encouraged unsafe rescues to maintain other players' benevolence. Now, with farming being punished by removing those gain points when a survivor returns to a hook too soon, it encourages players to make safer and smarter saves if they wish to keep their benevolent emblem. Evader was also updated to give points for extended chases versus when it was just about escaping the chase in the first time. This means those who can pallet loot for great deals of time will be rewarded every 15 seconds of the chase. Not exactly that survivors needed that, or if that's even difficult, but it's there. Killers got a change to Chaser, causing the killer to lose points for long chases. Honestly, this is possibly the most puzzling change, as killers don't get to make much of an effort in ending chases early. It is not entirely up to them, but instead up to the survivor. At lower ranks, this may not be the case, as survivors tend to make more mistakes, but at a high level, it is very hard to end chases early without the survivor slipping up, which is not that common. Some balance changes to blood points were added so that scoring events would scale properly, and offerings added more benefits to help against the grind that is Dead by Daylight. I'll also list the bug fixes for the PTB here, but won't exactly cover them myself. Overall, I think changes are needed for survivors. I've played far more survivor than I have killer currently in the PTB, and I'm left with the impression that it is extremely difficult to know when I'm doing good. At times when I thought I should have done well, I got a far lesser emblem reward. Then I'd be heavily rewarded in other categories that I thought I was doing poorly in based on the rules they've stated. As an example, I would enter over 6 chases with a killer, and not take damage in any of those chases for as long as they were. At the final end part of the game, I run past the killer and take a single hit within 2 seconds of entering that chase, but then I escape immediately. Then, when I get to the end game, I realize I only got a gold instead of an iridescent. To me, it seemed like I survived enough chases for long periods of time without taking any damage would fulfill the requirements to have iridescent. However, if I take damage, it seems that it would remove the iridescent from me since I would maybe lose points. There's possibly a cap to what you can get throughout what you do in the game, and then if you lose points at the last second, you would be otherwise ruined of your iridescent, but I cannot confirm this simply because there's no visual cue of when this happens. Being there is no visual cue as to when you would achieve certain ranks of emblems in the middle of the game, the results are a complete surprise at the end. I'm not sure if this is intended, but being that they have yet to add this feature in, I have to speculate that this is their intention, as it's to keep the metagaming at bay and let people play the game without worry about their current progress. As a final note on the killer's emblems, it's just simply too easy to win without focusing on killing any other survivors. For as long as I roam the map and strike people, it seems that I'm graciously rewarded. Even when pushing through those chases of constant loops and stuns, I still get iridescence or gold, but the experience doesn't feel that way. Though I'm told I did good, I was left continuously frustrated, not because I won, but because I didn't feel that I've deserved the win. This is the portion that worries me the most for killers. The devs are pushing the emblems to relieve the killers of the pressure to win. I play killer all the time and don't feel the pressure to win so much as the frustration to kill. I'm not sure if making it easier for killer to win is going to fix the bitching and moaning of killer mains such as myself when it's just not fun to win. It isn't the win killers are worried about all the time, but more the adventure we have to get that win. If the process of winning is frustrating and annoying, you can bet that I will not feel rewarded for that victory. My skill as a killer is not taken into consideration for this victory, rather that the survivors make enough mistakes for me to capitalize on. Let's look at a few emblems as my example. Gatekeeper rewards points based on incomplete generators. These dastardly things get completed at an alarming rate in the current state of the game. Ruin seems to be our only saving grace if, and only if, the survivors don't work through it or break that totem immediately. This is the same with Chaser. Long chases are easy to achieve as a survivor. Pallets can consume anywhere from 15 to 30 seconds each, not to mention long window loops, and leaving the chase would damage my points as a killer to find another survivor since I give up the chase and lose the survivor without hitting them. This all really relies on that rank system too. While playing various games that I have, no one I played with really lost. Not a single person depipped in the PTB. This becomes a slight problem as ranks need to exist to separate skilled players from the newer bunch that come into Dead by Daylight. It's not exactly going to be the best thing to put me against someone who just bought the game yesterday. Dead by Daylight currently suffers from this issue as well. Survivors are ridiculously easy to rank up once you've got the perks and knowledge. Skill doesn't come into consideration at rank 1 anymore. Killers on the other hand take slightly more skill, but with survivors memeing and taking intentional deaths, ranks on killers move up easily as well. If rank 1 begins to mean anything, that would be wondrous, and I'm hoping that the emblem system brings that together with proper balance. I'll be playing this PTB for the next few days to see what I can find out and test with everything that I've been given. I'll play with a variety of killers and see if I ever rank down or if I can ever get other survivors to rank down. So what are your thoughts on the emblem system? Do you feel it's well balanced? What sides have you played and for how long? Let me know in the comments down below. I'll also be looking for any information regarding the points gained through the emblems, so if you got anything, put it in the comments down below and I'll help look into it. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and as always, good game.